All right, welcome back to another episode of Fake Nerd Watch for Star Trek Picard. I am Brandon C. McClure, the Fake Nerd Podcast. With me, as always, on this trek through the latest Star Trek is Michael Karls of the Downright Nerdy Podcast. How are you doing?
Doing great. Smell great. All good.
We are wearing the same clothes. Don't worry about it.
Yes.
We definitely did not record this the same night. Just a weird coincidence.
Weird coincidence, yeah. It just happened to just fall on the same laundry day. It's all
exactly. This is the 7th episode of Star Trek Picard, called Nepenthe, the long-awaited episode. The long-awaited episode, where we finally know what happened to Riker and Deanna Troi.
Yes, yes. Tragic, a little bit.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
So, we've got a little bit of a reference to family in the beginning.
Yes.
As he's walking up and he's taken by a highwayman, a little girl with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Which I thought was fun. I did really like Soji's like, what are we safe? And he's just like, are we safe, Kestra?
Yeah. Just real quick, I mean, just for those of you, just a little recap. Picard and Soji just transported to this planet Nepenthe, home to some trusted friends, right after their battle on the Borg artifact cube.
On the artifact.
Yes. And Picard just named Nepenthe out of probably sheer just panic, really. He just needed to go somewhere safe. And they show up in the forest here. They get held up at Arrow Point by this young lady with some red paint on her face.
Yeah. Kestra, do you know what that's a reference to?
Oh, yeah, of course I know what Kestra is.
For those of you who don't know, Deanna Troi has a long-lost, a dead older sister who is full Betazoid, right?
Yes, full Betazoid, yep.
Who is full Betazoid. Betazoid. I don't remember. Who died before Deanna was born.
Mm-hmm.
Her name was Kestra.
That was a sad episode.
Yeah,
that was sad. Like I didn't see that coming. This is we're not talking about that, but still, it's just a little callback. Yeah,
it's a wild episode. Majel Barrett, great stuff in that one.
Sure.
So we meet Kestra, Troi, Riker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, look, I'm gonna just say it right now. I try very hard not to project familial bonds onto fictional characters. I see it all the time online. You know, people are like, "Oh, they're my family," whatever. I'm happy that people do that. I try not to. I think it's a little weird personally. Not to shame anybody who does that. But when I saw Deanna Troi hug Picard, I was like, my family.
Got him.
Star Trek The Next Generation was the first Star Trek show I ever watched. It's why I'm into Star Trek. These characters mean the world to me. And to see them together again was something special.
Let me tell you something. I mean, not only was the hug incredible, but when we see Riker first see Picard, and he automatically already knows what's going on, but there's that brotherly friendship, right? And he goes, okay, shields up or whatever. Oh, Romulans, okay, let me get the cloak up too. Yeah. You know, he's ready for everything.
What I really like about Deanna is that Deanna, because of her, she could read him. He doesn't say anything, and she knows he's dying.
She knows, yeah. Oh yeah, that was painful to see. You saw the pain in her face.
Yeah, because you get it twice. She, without saying a word, Deanna sees that he's in trouble. Mm-hmm. Oh, but there's something more. Oh, he's dying. And he's like, I'm fine. It's okay. I'm just so glad to see you. And then Riker gets his shields up moment, which I loved. You know,
I love that. Oh, that got me in all the right feels.
Yeah.
The nostalgia was hit hard in this episode. Not much happened, but the nostalgia factor was real.
And I don't think it was overdone.
No, I think it was I think it was just perfectly done for. I mean, I tried my best to try to look at it from the perspective of someone who had not seen TNG before,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it was still I couldn't find anything wrong with the episode. Um, yeah, I couldn't. I mean, on the Picard, Riker, Troy side.
There is something there is something wrong with the episode in my eyes. And I want to get it out of the way at the beginning.
Okay.
I do not like that they lost a child. I think it is too tragic, and I think it is indicative of modern Trek, especially with this show, that it has gotten to the point now that every single character we have met has a tragic backstory.
Yeah.
7 of 9 lost her kid. Now the Rikers lost their firstborn. And because of the stupidest reason, if there is a rare disease that Starfleet knows about that can only be cured by having a synthetic brain, a positronic brain, and they're just like, and so Starfleet says no more positronic brains. That means they just condemned everyone to get this virus.
You know what's
to
weird
death.
to me too is that why wouldn't they seek help outside the Federation from those who are okay with making synthetics? I mean, is the Federation the only place that has synthetics?
But why wouldn't the Federation just be like, okay, we have a positronic brain in case people have this disease?
Yeah, that would make sense too, right? There's a lot of things in just Trek in general that are sometimes hard to grasp, I guess.
But it's this one that is such a reach for me to buy. Like, not only did their kid die, but their kid died because of the attack on the Utopia Planitia shipyards. So it's tying it back to the main crux of the episode is what happened at the Utopia Planitia shipyards, yes. But it also doesn't make any sense that Starfleet Medical would just be like, yeah, okay, now we just have an incurable disease.
Yeah.
It's not even that they didn't know how to cure the disease until it was too late. It was that they knew. And then they were just like, oops.
Yeah, I know that Deanna said that the disease was extremely rare, but at the same time, like, I mean, there's still a percentage of the population that does get it. So why wouldn't you have that one brain? You know, you wouldn't even need like a fully in my eyes. Why couldn't you just have like a B4 version of a positronic brain that can't do anything else but maybe be your butler? You know what I'm saying? Or be essentially a droid like a C-3PO.
Or just have the head.
Just have the head. There you go. Yeah.
Like it is such a stretch.
It's lazy writing is what that is.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to. It comes down to lazy writing.
And also, like, they don't need to keep...
Samantha Humphrey and Chabon wrote this.
Yeah. They don't need to keep giving people these tragic backstories. Like, we don't need people to keep dying in order to elicit emotional responses. There are more ways to have tragedy that's not death.
Yeah. Yep.
Thaddeus Riker didn't need to die.
Yeah. What you call it? Okay, so setting that part aside, because
# justice for Thad.
Justice for Thad. One part of, I don't know if you caught this, I'm pretty sure you did, but when Riker and Picard are, I mean, obviously it's really cool. Okay, let's just, actually, I'm going to be jumping around. I'm going to try not to do this. We'll try to take it.
Go ahead.
We'll try to take it, I guess, in order of events.
I prefer jumping around anyway. If audience have a problem with that one, DM me.
Okay, screw it then. So, okay, my favorite part of this was a very subtle hint of something that I think is going to come to play later on. Maybe not this season, possibly next season, or even later on after that, into a third season if we get it. Riker says to Picard that he is on active reserve, which means he could get called back. In my eyes, if I'm watching Star Trek, I'm 100% believing that we're going to eventually see him come in, swooping into action to save Picard at the last second, I think. I would not be surprised if that happened one bit. or maybe not save him like at the last second, but save him to the point where like, hey, he needs a ship, he needs some protection. We have Captain Riker here. Bam.
I wouldn't mind. It did bother me that Picard called him Commander Riker.
That was a little rude, right?
Yeah, I'm like, excuse me, he was promoted.
I could understand him calling him number one.
Yeah,
but
force of habit.
That's
He's a captain. He's the captain of the Titan. Come on.
yeah.
We know he's a captain. This is
Unless he's been demoted since then.
That doesn't make any sense. This is Jonathan Frakes' first acting gig in like 15 years.
It's been a while. Yeah, I think he was on an episode of some Western show. I can't remember the name of it. I don't know.
But he was talking. He talked about it on an interview with Transport Room 3, which is a great Star Trek podcast. I highly recommend. He talked about how like he was nervous coming back because Marina Sirtis, who plays Deanna Troi, was doing Broadway, doing London West End, doing all sorts of shows, and Picard has been acting nonstop, and they've all gotten better, and he hasn't acted for years, so he was like, I can't be upstaged by my friends. So he's talked about like how he like practiced and trained and like tried to hone like all this dialogue, try to make it feel like he came back in an organic way, and I think it works. I think he did a really great job.
I honestly did not. He was Riker.
Yeah.
Okay. The entire episode, I had no doubt in my mind that he wasn't Riker.
Yeah.
The only thing that did bug me, and going back to your squabble with this episode, he did not seem like a person that had lost his son. That's the only thing that kind of bugged me. I bought it from Deanna. I did not buy it from Riker. I mean, unless he's somehow, I don't know how you get over that.
Well, they gave all that heavy lifting to Deanna, because Deanna has that speech with Soji, which, by the way, I thought was going to go a lot darker than it did.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Because she doesn't change her face. She gets a little bit more menacing as she's talking about there were no more positron brains. I'm like, is Deanna going to kill her? Is Deanna going to kill Soji right now?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I loved Riker. He still shows how smart he is, right? He's like, oh, come on, the little head tilt. Hold on. Yeah. I got to talk about that whole sequence because that's awesome. Okay, you go ahead. I'm gonna let you take the reins off this, man. This is great.
After Picard shows up and doesn't even say Romulans, he just says you might want to run anti-cloaking scans.
Yes,
and he's like, okay, computer, run anti-cloaking scans. Like he's willing to. He knows Picard's in trouble and he's willing to do it. He's like, and now he's making pizza and he's like, you don't have to say anything. I understand you want ignorance will keep me safe, but. Let me take a crack at it. Yeah. You wanted me to run anti-cloaking scans, which means Romulans. You're scared, which means Tal Shiar. How am I doing? And then he's like, now the girl, she's an android. Like he knows. Like, and Picard's kind of like, okay. It's like, but not only that, I recognize that head tilt anyway. I recognize that head tilt anyway. Yeah. She's got data in her, and. I loved that because that head tilt is so data, and I love that Soji incorporated that into her mannerisms.
So great. It was man. When I said that the feels came back when Deanna hugged Picard, it was just as powerful watching Riker and Picard's exchange. Well, more just Riker, but yeah, that was classic TNG nostalgia.
Or even when they sit down at dinner, like Deanna is like,
she said, don't think of us as your friends. I want you to pretend like this is the ready room.
Yeah, think of this as the ready room on the Enterprise.
Yeah,
let's problem solve.
She also knows because of her abilities that he is still a broken man and is still trying to gain that not motivation, oh gosh, come on.
The drive?
Not the drive. There's another word. Gosh darn it. Why can't I think? I'm too excited right now.
Well, she's
talking.
Yeah, so she talks to him about like Picard says in the beginning, he's like, when I left Earth I had a plan, I had a ship, now I don't have a ship, and I had half a plan.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what to do. He comes to them because he needed someone to help him figure out what his next move was going to be. Because now he's in the thick of it, and he's in way over his head. As a 96-year-old man. I really like when Soji even like rails against Picard, and Deanna is just like, I'm not supposed to say this as ship's counselor, but you deserve that.
Yeah, that's right, huh? He had it coming. That's what it was.
Oh yeah, he had it coming. Yeah, I thought that was really great. All their interactions were really delightful. It is kind of a bummer that they don't give Riker anything to do with that. Did you get the reference to Thaddeus Riker, by the way?
I did not.
It's his ancestor from the Civil War, who we meet in the Q episode where Riker becomes a Q.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. That's a deep cut. Their house is awesome. It's got shields. Yeah. It's got scanners.
Yeah,
it has phasers.
Yeah. Right.
Staying.
Yeah, it was a very good, that part of the episode was really good. And to be quite honest with you, I mean, it rivaled the last 5 minutes of the Borg scenes. I mean, or on the artifact scenes, because everything that happened about like between Hugh and oh god, what's his name?
Elnor
and the other Tal Shiars. It was a little boring to me. I didn't know what was really going. Like, what was their plan?
I wanna get through Riker and Troy first.
Okay, yeah, let's do that because
I got some other things I want to.
Two different conversations.
Well, there's 3 major plot lines in this episode. There's an A, B, and C plot. The A plot is the Picard, Soji, Riker, Troy plot. And I really liked how Soji connected with Kestra. Mm-hmm. And the idea that Thad, who was born on a starship, had no homeworld of his own. So he always dreamed how cool our homeworlds, and he created new languages and new peoples.
Oh, and Soji was able to pick up on those languages like that, right?
Yeah. Which is how Riker knew that she was an android, because she picked up on all the languages. Kestra became such a good sounding board for Soji to be like, I don't know if I could trust these people. I don't know if I could trust Picard. I don't know who Data is, and Kestra, who's like, Data was the coolest guy that my father ever served with. Picard is the nicest, sweetest, most heroic man in the universe. Riker described him as the greatest captain ever, and Riker's like, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Good. I wanted that to be a reference to the fact that Riker was a captain. I wanted to be like, I was the greatest captain ever.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really cool seeing. I mean, like, knowing that Riker and Troy taught their daughter everything, that all the different adventures that they had on the Enterprise with Data, with Picard, like all these great stories. It was really cool to see that. Yeah, and that's how I always envisioned like any of the children of TNG growing up. They would hear stories of what their parents did with their crews, their perspective.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if I have much more to say on that one. We'll bounce back, but now is, I think, a good time to talk about Hugh and Elnor.
Yeah.
I don't like that they killed Hugh.
No, me either. Not at all. And that just brings me back to the whole Queen's ready room thing, where like you just walk through. Come on.
Yeah, I just kind of feel like
I think we made the decision like earlier on for last episode that he wanted to stay back and save his people, but he had to know that was a losing battle.
But not just that. It goes back to the idea that the only way that there can be emotional resonance is if there's death, and I don't agree with that style of writing at all. And it's not just Star Trek, mind you. Modern Trek does this, sure, but all modern shows deal with this. Like, death is an easy shorthand for emotional tragedy. If there's death, everybody can relate to death.
I think
Everybody's lost someone.
It would have had a much more interesting plot twist if, let's say, the Romulans killed all the XBs on the ship except for Elnor and Hugh, and they were actually able to maybe escape, maybe even just escape with 1 or 2 XBs. But the amount of damage and death that was placed upon, or that was brought by the Romulans to the XBs, would not only give Hugh more three-dimensional emotional depth in the sense of being defeated, in the sense of loss, in the sense of anger. It would have made his character a lot more interesting than it even was, and it already was interesting to me.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with making Hugh part of the crew.
No, I don't know why they didn't. I mean, maybe because they don't want 2 ex-Borg that are eventually going to be on the crew, because 7 and 9's coming back.
Yeah, it's weird to do that, and I think that. By the way, we made a reference to this in the last episode, but Elnor, being what he is, if you cross blades with these guys, you die, unless you're plot relevant.
Yeah, and lo and behold, the Tal Shiar sister gal, she's like, "Oh, I thought you were supposed to be like the most task killers or something like that," and she holds her own against them
because she's plot relevant. She can't die because she has plot. She has plot armor.
Essentially, everyone that Elnor fights is a red shirt, unless you're plot relevant.
Yeah. Unless you're plot relevant, and that bugged me because I'm just like, then you shouldn't have made it. You shouldn't have made him like that powerful. You shouldn't have made it so that.
The same as like John Wick too. You know what I'm saying? I think I made that reference last episode too. Like
but John Wick struggles.
He does struggle.
Like John Wick struggles and he gets tired.
I guess.
But right. This guy is just like.
Okay, well then I'll give you this. He's like Jack Bauer then. Okay, yeah, he doesn't sleep for 24 hours, doesn't eat poop or pee or nothing like that. He just keeps going.
Well, I don't know that reference. I've never seen 24.
Oh, you've never seen 24? Oh my gosh, such a good. Anyways, we'll talk about that offline.
Yeah, it's. I gotta know where this plot goes. If whatever happens with 7 and 9 in the next episode, I have to know that this was worth it, because right now I don't think it was. I don't think leaving Elnor on the ship, and I don't think killing Hugh was worth it.
And the way that they left Elnor on the ship was strange to me. The Doctor and Rios and Rafi, they're like, "Oh, where's Elnor or whatever? Oh, his signal is still coming from the ship." And somehow he's able to get something like a message to them saying like, "Hey, I have things to do here" or whatever. And then they're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
And then they leave.
Jurati reveals her true colors. This is where we get to the next plot of the episode, where Jurati reveals her like, why are we going to get Picard? Why don't we just go home?
Yeah, and I mean Rios is. Didn't he say like or no, that was Rafi. There's like, you all of a sudden want to do what? And then she gives her cake, and then she throws up red velvet cake. I did not. I was so confused with that. Can you explain that a little bit better for me? What was the point of that?
Well, Rafi wants her to calm down, because I think that Rafi sees that she's freaking out.
The whole thing for me is I thought that she knew that she swallowed something, and she was feeding her some kind of cake that would make her throw it up or expel it or something. I don't know.
I did too. It's not necessarily explained, though she does say that she's eaten a lot of cake, so I guess I could probably understand like she ate too much and threw up. Whatever. I really like that she tried to kill herself. Not because I think
I thought that she took that because she was trying to expel the whatever tracking device that was in her cells.
Well, that's what she's trying to do. Oh shoot, we get a flashback to Commodore O.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
doing
the mind meld,
doing the undiscovered country mind meld violation.
Yeah,
the two-handed mind meld. That was very powerful. I kind of wish we got more of that. I want to know what the hell's going on there.
So, what do you think that is? Because none of that's obviously happened.
Oh, that's a really good question.
Is that just something that she's projecting, that she's maybe have seen some what is that? What is that? What is it?
Well, I think
Let me see if there's
it's got to be. I think it's a vision that she had on Vulcan. Because you remember when Spock went off and did his in the motion picture, the very first Star Trek movie, Spock went off into the desert and did the whole like purging of whatever.
According to Memory Alpha, O performs a mind meld showing Jurati that Earth will be destroyed if synthetic life is allowed to exist. That's the explanation that they give.
But is it a memory?
It doesn't say.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out next week, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The way the plot is moving, anyway. Yeah, I thought that was a little strange, but I do really like that Jurati feels violated because it goes back to I don't know how much you remember Star Trek 6: The Undiscovered Country.
I don't.
It's one of my favorites. It's the final Kirk Spock movie. Mm-hmm. In it is a Vulcan who has betrayed the Federation because she doesn't think that the Vulcans and the Klingons should have peace. So in order to find out who the killer is, Spock does a mind meld. He forces a mind meld on her by putting two hands to her face. It's a violation sequence. It's essentially a rape sequence. But it's our hero trying to torture the information out of her, and I got a lot of parallels there with Commodore O being like with the two-handed mind melds violating Jurati.
I get that. The only thing that confuses me is that, as far as I know, the only thing that you get out of a mind meld is a shared experiences of each other's pasts or emotions or what have you. Right now,
emotional transference,
right now. Has there been any? You have to let me know if there has been, because I can't recall. Has there been any reference in past Star Trek where the person doing the mind meld has projected an image into that person that may not have happened or has been fabricated? Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's why I think it's a vision that she had on Vulcan. And she is forcing Jurati to relive this vision that she has already lived through.
Okay.
I don't know. It could be a fake thing.
Yeah.
Could be something that the Romulans were like, "Hey, sucks to be a synthetic" or something. I don't know. But what I liked about it was Jurati's reference. She's clearly been violated, and the reason why she kills Bruce. The reason why she takes the tracking thing, the reason why she kills herself is because she's been through a traumatic experience. She has essentially been raped in that moment. And I think that does play because of the reference to Star Trek 6.
Yeah, okay. Well, you have more insight on that than I do because I don't recall much of Star Trek 6 at all. So I
recommend watching it again. It's a great movie.
I'll take your word for it. Okay. So at the end, we see, Hugh gets killed by the female Tal Shiar chick. She does Jaffa's chick. She throws a throwing knife at his throat and kills him. Elnor vows revenge.
I hate it so much.
Why
bring back Hugh if you're just going to kill him?
Yeah, right. Exactly. So quickly too, right?
If you're not, and it's like if you're not main Star Trek character, you're expendable. That's why each have died in the 709 episode. Mm-hmm. It's why I think no, this is rumor. This is a theory that the fans have. Sorry, the fans think that Beverly Crusher is dead.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Neither would I. I don't want it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
If you're not main Star Trek, you're dead.
So yeah, he does the whole like weird Tony Montoya speech. You know, he killed my father. Be prepared to die, kind of thing. That's what I kind of gained from him. He was like,
"You said Tony Montoya."
What did I say?
You said Tony. It's Inigo Montoya.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm thinking of Tony Montana. That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Though he's like, oh, I'm gonna avenge you. Kind of thing.
I did like the cat and mouse that Rios and Rafi were doing with Narek.
Oh yeah, you know what? It reminded me of? It reminded me of Battlestar Galactica.
A little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit. The first episode,
the first few episodes, where they're trying to jump from spot to spot, but they keep getting tracked.
Yeah, I like that, and how Rios is like, oh, it's got to be Rafi, right? Because she disappeared on Free Cloud. My cat. Because she disappeared on Free Cloud. Like, it's got to be Rafi, and Girardi's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to see the emergency medical hologram again, the AMH.
So is she still in a coma at the end of the episode?
Yeah, she's in a coma.
Okay.
I did see a clip of the next episode where she is alive, so they revive her.
Is there redemption for her?
I think there is. I think it could be. There's an easy redemption for this character. I don't know if they'll do it. They might. I don't think that she. I think she's a victim in all of this.
I understand that, but will that be portrayed though in the coming episodes?
I don't know. There's only 3 episodes left.
Okay, so Elnor, we kind of see that in the the sneak peek. Will he be saved by 7 of 9?
Yeah, because we see him click on the Fenris Ranger dog tag, and then the coming next on the
Where
episode.
did you find that, by the way? Where'd they get that?
I don't remember.
I think happened to be there.
I think 7
right
had.
In the time?
I think 7 gave it to Picard, and Picard left it on the Borg cube.
Oh,
maybe
I missed that. Okay,
I don't remember, but there was a Fenris Ranger dog tag, and Elnor pushed it, and the 7 and 9 is going to show up.
7 and 9's on the way to save him.
Yeah.
And then we last see Picard and Soji beam away, right?
Yeah.
It almost seems like of Picard thinks that it's a final goodbye. It seems like, right?
Yeah, I hope it's not. I'd like to see them back.
Think it is. I have 100%. Actually, I'll bet money that it's not this last time we see them together.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that Riker did say like he's on active reserve. That's the only reason why. I
did really like when they're having pizza together and they're having dinner together, and
before or after he burned the tomatoes.
Yeah, and he looks around and Picard says thoughts. Yeah, like when they would be in the conference room and he'd be like, options,
oh yeah, there's
opinions.
A ton of callbacks like that. I loved it.
Yeah, and Kestra's on her phone essentially being like, this crazy guy knows where this planet is.
Yeah, that's right. Who is this guy? What did they?
I forgot what his name was, but but Kestra likes him, but the Rikers don't. Yeah, they think he's crazy.
Let's see. Okay, that's that.
Memory Alpha, folks, good resource.
It is good. I enjoy it. Let's see. He serves dinner. Okay.
You ever go on Memory Beta?
I'm sorry. That's what I'm. No, Memory Alpha. I'm on Memory Alpha. What's Memory Beta?
Memory Beta is the non-canon source. So, like, if you want to know, like, what books are there, that's Memory Beta.
Oh, another really cool callback when he burned the tomatoes. Riker calls out to cancel
red alert. Yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah,
it made me so happy just to hear him say that stuff.
I really like seeing Riker back. I like Jonathan Frakes a lot.
Yeah, it was good. Oh man. Okay. Oh, so they're going to they're looking for a planet, and they found she finds out where the planet is too.
Yeah, because the old captain.
The Guion system in the Vite
system.
Vite. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was. I'm glad that once again, like, plot's moving. Like, we're not dilly-dallying around. We are going forward, and it didn't take them multiple episodes to get to Nepenthe. Rio, like, by the end of the episode, I did like the reference that he's just like, they have more drama than you guys ever did.
Yeah,
like I did like that.
Very true. So go ahead.
No, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Me too.
This is great podcasting.
Yeah, right.
No, I think that the momentum of this series is still very. Ever since we got to space, the momentum of this episode has been really good.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I know it was slow goings for the first few episodes, but I kind of liked it. It was like dipping my feet back in the water. Before I started.
Episode 2 and 3 could have been squished into one episode, and it
I
would have
know.
been just fine.
I thought it was 1 and 2 that could have been switched into one episode, but I mean, either or, just tomato, tomato. But at the same thing, I was still in kind of looking back at the whole 7 episodes. I'm still happy of how the entire pacing has gone overall. Now that I know where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I did like Riker and Picard share a moment by the lake, and Riker says, "I never thought you had any business retiring in the first place."
Yeah.
Picard says, "You were right."
Yep.
And I was happy that he was just like, "You're right. I should never have left Starfleet. I don't know what I was thinking."
Yeah. And he also made a reference, I think, to Soji, saying that he should have done something about it as opposed to just sitting wasting his life, or something like that, right?
Well, he says like,
say?
well, I don't remember what that says specifically, but there is a moment where he's just like, "Why didn't you call us?
Yeah.
Why didn't you call us in the first place?" And he's like, "I didn't want to put you guys in danger."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "So you came here anyway." But,
Yeah.
I thought this episode was very sweet. Was really great to see these characters back.
I can definitely see myself, if like in retrospect, like maybe over the summer, if I decide to go back and watch an episode, this will probably be the first episode I rewatch.
It's the best episode of the series so far.
Yes, 100%.
And I hope that when Guinan shows up in the next season, that it is handled with just as much care.
It better be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or with anybody who returns. With anybody who returns, really. It doesn't matter who, as long as they come back the right way. Do you think we're going to see some de-aging John Delancey?
No, I think if John Delancey... I've been thinking about this a lot. I think if John Delancey shows up again, which I think he should, he will maybe briefly show up with some de-aged stuff, and then be like, "Oh, this is no fun. I want to mock you," and then be old and be like, "Oh, look, much better."
Oh, I could totally see that happening. Oh, that'd be so rude. And he better be in that old school captain's uniform too.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah,
I would love to see Q come back. Oh man!
Yeah. And what if he just is like? What if he just does something like, "Oh, all you had to do was ask Jean-Luc," and then he snaps his fingers, and then Data's back, then all the synth is back, and everything that happened in season 1 and 2 is just void.
Well, I don't know if I want that necessarily. But
no, he says something like, "Hey, there's actually multiple universes. There's actually a universe where Vulcan's destroyed. Let me fix that." And he just snaps his fingers. That'd be a great little wreck.
By the way, I watched Star Trek Beyond the other day. I like the movie a whole lot.
I didn't mind it.
I like the movie a lot. I think that's really good.
It's Star Trek as opposed to the first two.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway,
so next episode, I'm going to read the synopsis just because I'm on Memory Alpha right now.
Of course.
Why not? When devastating truths behind the Mars attack are revealed, Picard realizes just how far many will go to preserve secrets stretching back generations, all while the La Sirena crew grapples with secrets and revelations of their own. Narissa directs her guards to capture Elnor, setting off an unexpected chain of events on the Borg cube. The Borg are back.
I'm very happy that we're going to get some answers about what happened on Mars.
Yeah, not in the form of flashbacks. Hopefully they're just revelations.
Well, I also wouldn't mind the flashback. I wouldn't mind seeing it.
I don't know. I'm kind of sick of flashbacks by now.
Every episode is always a flashback. You're gonna have to get used to it.
I know.
The second episode starts with the same flashback that the first episode did. Anyway,
all right.
Yeah, I think that's all I got so far. I like this episode a whole lot. It's really great to see these characters back together. I wish that was the show. I wish it was the whole show, them all back, but I do like this new crew.
I wish this was the first episode and we just get to see more. They all beam out after that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's tough to get over the idea that these characters, that all the characters we've met so far have tragic backstories. Like, what happened? Did LaForge lose his legs? What is Kronos destroyed? Like,
yes.
what else?
Oh,
What
you know
else
what?
happened to these guys?
Yeah, Darth Geordie Maul. That's his new name. He's gonna have metal legs.
Yeah, it's like Worf was. Where do we leave Worf? Worf was like the ambassador to Kronos or something like that at the
Yeah,
end of
he
Deep
was.
Space Nine, and he's just like, Kronos was destroyed.
No.
The synths did it.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't. I hope it's not that case. I really, like I've said before, if we ever meet another character from Next Generation, and I really hope there is, it's not because something sad happened to them. I want someone to still be in Starfleet. Maybe we see the Enterprise and it's Captain LaForge.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
I think that'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Although I do believe that there is a book out, and comment in the comments if you know. But I think there is a book out that makes reference to Worf being the captain of the Enterprise.
I thought that he was not able to go up in command anymore because of him going against orders and saving Jadzia. Remember that episode? Cisco makes that comment like, "Hey, you're not going to be able. You're not going to ever be captain if you do this." And
we may remember that episode, but I don't think they do.
Okay, yeah, right. That's true. They've retconned enough already, right?
Yeah.
So,
there's plenty of stuff that you can just hand wave away, but some of the stuff is difficult if you're a Trek fan.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, that's okay. But that's anyway. I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah.
Before we turn around into more circles talking about like, oh my God, Riker. Anyway, so let's get out of here.
Again.
Yeah, huh? I did. Yeah, I did like that. All right, so let's get out of here then. Let's do our outro. I'm Brandon T. McClure as before. You can find me at FakeNerd Podcast. Probably a review of Mulan by the time this is up on YouTube. I think that's about right. Or Bloodshot, one of the two. You can find that show wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find Fake Nerd Podcast all over the social medias. Just type in Fake Nerd Podcast. If you click like and subscribe on this channel, on this video, like and subscribe to get more videos like this. Fake Nerds Watch. We've got a whole back catalog going through other shows. We will be doing Fake Nerds Watch for the rest of the episodes of Picard. 3 episodes left, guys. Home stretch. And,
already sad. I'm sad.
I think I'll be okay.
I know.
I'll be okay. Yeah. I want more of this episode.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it ending.
Yeah.
And of course we have another show, Basement Arcade, which is currently going through Sonic Mania. Yeah, Michael, Downright Nerdy Podcast. Where can they find you?
You can find us anywhere as well. iTunes, Spotify, CastBox, Google Play, on your Alexa via your AnyPod skill. You can find us at downrightnerdy.com. You can find us on Instagram at Downright Nerdy Podcast. You can find us here on YouTube if you just check down in the description below. But also make sure you click this little notification bell too, because every time a Fake Nerds Podcast puts something out, which is fairly often, you'll get notified and you'll get to watch all this awesome content too. You're gonna don't want to miss this. But yeah, also just subscribe on our YouTube channel as well. We're doing a big giveaway as well. Just click the main video down. This is a mini milestone giveaway, giving away all kinds of stuff once we hit some milestones. So you don't want to miss that. It'll be a fun time. So.
The giveaway podcast over here, making us look bad.
No, it's fine. It's all this stuff. It's too much stuff. I like giving stuff away because you know what I get to do after I give everything away? I get to buy new stuff. I love buying new stuff. That's true. Yeah, buying new stuff is my favorite thing to do.
All right, then. Well, I guess until next week, guys.
Thank you for having me, as always, buddy.
Live long and prosper.